Hello, welcome back again to Big B Sports Talk Podcast. Again, Brian Hanley, thank you guys for tuning in. Man, it has been just a whirlwind of a summer, 2021. Kicking off, it's just been a crazy year. Been just a crazy year. Crazy year for sports. You know, with this pandemic going on, there's a lot of things that are just different. But, you know, something that happened, and we're going to talk about it today, that I never thought would happen. I thought it should have happened 25, 30 years ago. Never came to fruition is the NIL in college or just amateur athletics. This is a game changer. And let me tell you why. Obviously, it's a game changer. Basically, the NCAA was forced to do this. Okay, let's just put those cards on the table. They were forced to do it. They didn't want to. They've been making money off the backs of kids for basically 100 or so years. Just hand over fist. And you know what? It worked for them. It worked for them. But they were forced to make a change. The reason that they were forced is, and we'll dive into some other specifics, but the reason that they were forced is basketball. Basketball and it happened this year. Guys, when the NCAA or the NBA put in the G League and guys could get paid for going to the G League, and then guys going overseas, and you were going to start seeing more people going overseas and doing this and doing that. You think, well, first off, people say, well, they're only getting $40,000, $50,000. Do you know how much money $40,000 or $50,000 is to an 18-year-old, 19-year-old? That is a ton of money. It doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, middle class, to an 18 or 19-year-old that's never really worked or whatever the case may be. If they're able to get $40,000, $50,000, that's a lot of money for playing basketball when you don't have any money. So they were forced into allowing this to go on. Name, image, likeness. They were forced because you were starting to see the top players were starting to do it. And the top players were getting more money. The 40 or 50,000 was the bottom of the barrel. Others were getting like 100,000, 150,000. Now, that's not millions of dollars that you make in the NBA, but it's better than the $0 that you make in college. So they were forced into doing this. Okay? And I always say, yeah, it was the NBA, or basically the NBA pushed that and said, look, you're going to have to make changes because this is what we're doing, because we're tired of we just want to be able to. I think the NBA did it because they were tired of guys coming into the league and franchises having to draft these guys at 18 and 19 years old that had no seasoning playing against men. And yes, you're going to get some rookies that are going to be spectacular, but for the most part, you're developing kids. You go to the G League, you're getting that development. In college, you're playing against college kids. And as we know, everybody in college isn't going professional. It's not the same seasoning. It's not the same training. It's not the same. So NBA kind of pushed that, and the NCAA responded. Great. It should have happened years ago. I mean, I just think back, and I know I bring a lot of things back to myself. I mean, I went to college back in 1990. When I first went was 1994. And guys could have been able to make money because, again, it's not that the schools are paying these kids. It's you can get outside sponsors. You can get a job. You can get these things and that's where I think people are missing the boat on this thing. The schools aren't paying you. Like Alabama's not paying a kid to come play football. That's not what's happening. Now, a booster from Alabama may say, you know what, I'm going to sponsor you to wear my stuff or to tweet out this, put this on Instagram, and we'll pay you based on the number of likes and clicks and all that good stuff. More power to them. And they say, well, the rich get richer. Really? Is that how it works? Because anybody can do this. Anybody. And yeah, maybe the bigger school that you go to, the more people are going to come to your page. But you know what? If you are a great basketball player at Miami or Wyoming or Boise State and you're really, really good, it doesn't matter. It's just like professional ranks. You can come from, what's a name? You. If you can play basketball or football, they are going to put you on their roster. If you can help them win, they will absolutely put you on their team. It doesn't matter where you're from. This is the same thing. If you're good, kids, because that's what people are gravitating to. They're gravitating towards you. And if you are good, it doesn't matter where you're at. Yes, having a bigger market might help, but you're not advertising that. I mean, market size doesn't come into play, in my opinion. Market size doesn't come into play when you're talking about Instagram. Instagram is all over the world. Facebook is all over the world. Doing those things is TikTok. That's world branding, not New York City branding, Los Angeles branding. It's world branding. Because you can be, if anybody that has a TikTok, you can have whatever your stick is. People don't even know where you are. And if you're popular, you're popular. Period. That's the difference. That's what is a game changer with this whole thing. People being able to make money off of themselves. Sell yourself. Booster, the school's not paying you. That's this whole thing. Everybody was, well, how is it fair to the volleyball player? If the volleyball player can come up with the stick that's popular, they can get paid just as much. And I know what other people think about it, because the flip side is it's always, well, should these athletes be getting paid? They're getting a free scholarship. And, here's a side that I have always taken. And anybody that ever asked me this, I always say the same thing when people say that. They don't deserve anything. They don't deserve anything. They're getting a free scholarship. Take that away from them. You know what? Do people say that when a kid's playing basketball and his parents are rich and he has the best shoes, the best clothes, he has the best of everything? Nobody says, well, he's got a better advantage because his parents are rich. Either you can play basketball or you can't. Either you can play football or you can't. It isn't, well, he's got the best of everything. People aren't mad and saying take that away from him because his parents happen to have it. The difference here is the playing field was created by God. God has gifted somebody athletic ability over somebody else. So why would you be mad about somebody using their God-given talent to receive these gifts versus their parents giving them these gifts? See what I'm saying? Literally, what's the difference? Why would you be upset because you're being able to use your God-given talent to receive benefits versus your parents giving you benefits? To me, there's no difference. Yeah, you can say, well, the parents worked for it. Okay. But the parents also were given the work ethic by who? Or given the skills set by who? It's all started somewhere, and it's always at the top. And we know what the top is. Whatever God you choose to worship, and even if you don't, somebody's creating that. So look at it in that perspective. The next time that you say, I don't think kids should be able to receive anything, they got a free scholarship. why are you upset with your kid being able to market himself and make money off of himself? I mean, seriously, I've never understood that, why people get so mad and they don't deserve it. They shouldn't get it. They're getting a free scholarship. However, the kid that goes to school on an academic scholarship can do all of those things. And they didn't have to pay one dime for any of it. And yet, people are upset. They don't get upset about that. I don't know. It baffles me. It just baffles me. But that's how I always look at it. And the NCAA has been forced, and I love it. They have literally been forced into making a decision that they did not want to make. Man, they didn't want to make it. And finally, they have to make it. And finally, they're getting their head beat in about it. And the thing that's satisfying for me, anyway, is that you're going to be able to see everybody profit. All kids profit from what they're doing on themselves, if they choose to. If they choose to. And yeah, it's going to be a popularity contest, but so is the presidential election. It's a popularity contest. Some are going to be more popular than others. Some are going to make more money than others. That's the world we live in. Everything isn't equal. Everything just isn't equal. Sorry. It's never going to be equal. The only thing that we can do as far as being equal is treat each other equal, which we all know that doesn't happen. So don't kid yourself on that. So that's the only thing that we can control, is how we treat each other, and we don't treat each other equal. And if we're not going to do that, then why would we expect anything else to be equal? Get over yourselves, myself included. We can't be that way. Let these kids thrive. There's nothing wrong with letting kids thrive. Let them thrive. Let them have some fun. As long as they're not breaking any laws. And I mean laws. I don't talk about rules, because we all know about the NCAA rules are archaic. Absolutely archaic. Now, I don't think some booster should just be able to hand you $100,000 because you ran for 175 yards, or you scored 35 points, or, you had 85 kills in a game, which I don't think anybody has 85 kills in a volleyball match. Or you hit 2 home runs in a game, or whatever. I don't think anybody should be able to do that. But if you can market yourself and make money off yourself, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a day that has come that I think we can all get behind. And we all should be behind it. We all should be behind it, because this is a day that, it's just been coming for a long time. And I think people should just be proud to say, you know what, let's get out of the kids' way. Let's get out of their way. Let's let them thrive. Let them do their thing. Let them be successful. And if they can market themselves and be successful, isn't that what college is all about? You go to college to learn the skills to be able to provide, get a job. Well, there you go. Marketing 101. Market yourself. It's outstanding. Getting to the NCAA, just think. Those rules that they have are just archaic. We've been wanting rule changes for years. Talking about you couldn't text people, and then you could text people, and then you couldn't call people, and then you could call people, and when the recruiting starts and when it stops, and you can't talk to a guy past 6:02 p.m. And then, come on. Either you let people recruit or you don't. And even when you do, they're always going to break the rules. Everybody cheats. That's another thing. I get to these people that get on their high horse. Like I said, me, diehard Louisville fan, love K-State, went to K-State, love K-State. Get on these fans that get on, Kentucky cheated and Kansas cheated. You know what? First of all, Louisville, we know they're cheating. And K-State cheats too. Everybody cheats. Everybody. There are no exceptions, okay? And I hate to burst people's bubbles when it comes to that. Your stool cheats too. This is not just well, they do it. No. Everybody cheats. All of them. Your school included. You cheat. And I'm not mad because, the rule book is only this thick. I mean, who has time for that? I mean, you could hire a staff that's not going to know and memorize all of that. So, the NCAA is just terrible. Just terrible. The rules are it could be good. It could be good. And what they put on as far as some products. I mean, like I said, there's no better postseason than the NCAA tournament. There just isn't. Not the NFL, baseball, basketball, hockey, nothing. Nothing is better than the NCAA tournament. So they can put on good products. It's just the rules and what they do and their stipulations, how they get in the way. I mean, for years, they used to try to block college football. Until finally college football just got fed up. The schools got fed up and said, we can make way more money by banding together and banding with our conference, which has our best interest, which we all know the best interest is all money. But we can do much better than let the NCAA dictate to us. We need to dictate to them, which is exactly what happened. And this is another form of stop letting the NCAA dictate to you and you dictate to them. Because, like I said, it started with basketball. Football is going to be the one that profits the most because football players tend to stay in college longer. There's more of them. There's 85 scholarship players. So that's going to benefit. You're going to have football players benefit the most, especially in football crazy. I mean, we're a football crazy country as it is. So it's the most popular sport in America. And regardless of what anybody says, football is the most popular sport in America. And it's just going to get crazy. And I love it. And when I mean crazy, it's fun. That fun crazy. It's a lot that's going to go on, a lot that's going to happen. It's going to expand. It's going to make universities. It's going to make conferences. It's going to make the NCAA. It's going to make everybody take notice. Look, enough of the, I don't want to call it exploiting kids because to me, it's not exploiting kids because, again, kids are doing what they choose to do. You get exploited when it's something that you don't want to do, don't necessarily want to do. And you can't get into they're making money off the kids and the kids aren't getting anything. But, and that is the case. But the kids are also choosing to play football. So it's not exploiting isn't the right word. Because at every job, if you have a job, that company makes more money than you. And whatever you do, they're making more money than you do. So they're not exploiting you, they're paying you. The difference here is they're not necessarily paying for the kids. The kids aren't getting paid. So, and maybe I'm wrong. Take a look at it. Maybe it is exploiting them. I don't think so because you choose to do it, but there's that argument. There's that argument. Is that they're getting exploited. I just don't think so because you choose to do it. That's just my personal opinion. Having said that, the rules had to change, and I'm glad that they did. I think it's great. I think it's spectacular. Because the thing is, I just think back the money that I could have made. I mean, heck, I lived with 2 stars at K-State. I wasn't a star. I was just an offensive lineman. And I could have seen the money that they could have made. Well, I would have gladly picked up on their coattails. I would have gladly, hey, Brian, you live with them too? Yes, I do. Oh, okay. Well, we'll throw you, but yeah, throw me a bone. I'll take all the little bones that you have. My grandmother told me a long time ago, hey, don't step over pennies to try to find dollars. You pick up enough pennies, they spin too. I'll take all those bones that you all are throwing at me. I will take every last one of them. So it just depends on how you look at it that way. But for me, I think this is going to change the way. It won't. It'll change. You'll get more kids going to college. You're going to start doing, which is good. That's a good thing. You get more kids going to college in basketball. They're not going to go overseas. You're still going to get a couple that it will, but if you can market yourself, and it can start in high school. That's the thing. It can start in high school. And you start building and building and building starting in high school. Because the one thing that I can tell you for sure is that if you play basketball in Indiana high school or you play football in Texas, it doesn't get any bigger than that for high school sports. Indiana high school basketball and Texas high school football, that can be bigger than university. It is bigger than universities. I mean, heck, you see the high school gyms, these schools that have 4, 3, 4, 5, 700 people with 5,000 and 6,000 seat arenas. And in Texas, it's ridiculous. And they got these stadiums that cost 70, 80, 90 million dollars for a high school stadium. Are you kidding me? And for kids to be able to market off of that, doesn't get any better. Doesn't get any better. I think it's wonderful. All of it. Like I said, the kids won. And it's more than kids. Humanity, in my opinion, won. And it goes back to what I harp on, and I'm sure it drives a lot of you people nuts, and I apologize, but I'm going to keep saying it. Right and wrong. What the NCAA had been doing for years was wrong, and now they had to relent, and now it's right. It is right. It has always been, this has been the right thing to do, and now it's coming to fruition, and I just think it's great. I think it's great. Couldn't be more happy for all these kids out there that are going to start profiting, even if it's you get $10 a week. That's $10 more to go buy some pizza. To have some fun with. $10 more that maybe if your parents are straight can't send you money, that's $10 that you got that you never would have gotten before that, man. And that's the big picture. Everybody's family can't send them money. Everybody's family isn't rich. It's like I always explain to people. I didn't qualify to get a Pell Grant. But my mom was a school teacher. My father had passed away. It's not like I had all this money coming into the house. So it's not like she could just, you know what, I'm going to send you $1,000 a month. I mean, heck, she's a school teacher in the 90s. It's not like she was making $100,000 a year. But she made too much for me to get a Pell Grant, but not enough to just funneling me money. Middle class. That's a perfect example of what these people, or a lot of people, live. And you don't qualify, then you get a student loan, and then it just blah, 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 blah. And now they don't have to do that. You can make money on yourself. Just perfect, in my opinion. In my opinion, I think it's great. I think it's great. I think kids are going to thrive on this. Because kids, they get on their phones. You can be everywhere. It's just going to be absolutely a zoo. And I love it. I love it. More power to them. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you. Again, come to the website, which is www.koolaid with a C, COOLAID sports.com. We're on YouTube. Go to YouTube at Kool-Aid Sports. Come to the website. The podcast is anywhere that you get podcasts. We are there. Big B Sports Talk Podcast. You want to send emails, send me some emails. Again, I get a lot of them. So send me even more emails. The email address is Kool-Aid Sports Network at gmail.com. Kool-Aid Sports Network at gmail.com. I appreciate all the support. I've gotten a lot of it. Thank you guys. I really, really appreciate it. Keep them coming. We're going to keep pushing these things out as long as you guys keep listening. So I appreciate it. Thanks for all the comments, all the support. You guys have a good one.